All right, let's get right into it. We are going to solve one of the most maddening problems in all of test automation. You know the one. Tests that run perfectly fine by themselves, but just absolutely explode the second you try to run them in parallel. Today, we're going to cover the pro-level fix to guarantee your tests are stable every single time.
So does this sound painfully familiar? You write a fantastic test. It's solid, runs flawlessly on your machine. You push it to your CI pipeline, you crank up the parallel workers to save time, and then it just starts failing, randomly. Look, I'm here to tell you it's not you, it's not your code, it's a classic sign of a much deeper problem.
And here's the real kicker, right? We use parallel execution because it's supposed to make things faster, to get us that quick feedback. But when your tests start stepping on each other's toes and messing with the same data, you get the total opposite. You get chaos, unreliable results, and just hours of your life wasted, debugging ghosts.
So what is actually happening here? What's going on under the hood? You know what? Let's forget about code for just a second and talk about kitchens.
Okay, I want you to picture this. Each one of your parallel Playwright tests is a chef. And the single user account they're all logged into, that's the one and only mixing bowl in the entire kitchen. So the first chef dumps in some flour. At the exact same microsecond, a second chef throws in some eggs. A third one starts whisking like crazy. What you end up with is a complete mess, and it is definitely not a cake. Well, that's exactly what your tests are doing when they're all modifying shared data with one account. So the solution is actually pretty simple when you think about it that way. You just give each chef their own dedicated setup, their own bowl, their own whisk, their own ingredients. Now they can all work side by side at the same time without ever getting in each other's way. And that's our goal here. Give each parallel test worker its very own unique user account. That's how we guarantee perfect isolation.
Okay, clever analogy, sure. But what does this actually mean for you, the engineer writing the code? Let's talk about the real-world benefits, because this is why this really matters.
The payoff here is massive. First, you get tests that are rock solid, tests you can actually trust. Second, your CI pipeline stops being a roll of the dice and starts becoming a reliable source of truth. And third, and this might be the most important one, you get back all those hours you would have spent chasing down those bizarre, it only happens sometimes kind of failures. And I'm serious about this. Nailing this technique isn't just some small technical win. It's a massive productivity booster. Your project manager is going to love the stable builds, and you are going to love not having to say the words flaky test ever again. Okay, time for the fun part. Let's get into the code. The secret weapon we're going to use in Playwright to pull off this perfect isolation is something called a worker-scoped fixture. Now, this is the crucial part to understand. A normal setup hook, like a beforeEach, runs before every single test. A worker-scoped fixture, though, only runs once for each parallel process. So it'll create our unique user right at the very beginning, let all the tests assigned to that worker do their thing, and then tear it all down at the end. It is incredibly efficient. And getting this set up is just a simple 4-step process. First, you define a new fixture. Second, and this is the magic right here, you tell Playwright its scope is worker. Third, you put your logic in there to create a unique user. And finally, you just pass that fixture into your tests. That's it. Now, for the insider tip, this is what makes it all click. How do you actually make the user unique for each worker? Well, Playwright gives us this awesome little property called workerIndex. It's just a unique number that Playwright hands out to each parallel worker. So you just grab that index and tack it onto your test user's email. You get test user-0, test user-1, and so on. Just like that, you've guaranteed every worker is playing in its own sandbox. Okay, I know what some of you are thinking because this question comes up constantly. Why not just create a new user in a beforeEach hook? And you know what? That's a super common rookie mistake. It feels right, but it's actually solving the completely wrong problem. Let's just compare them side by side. The beforeEach approach is just wildly inefficient. Creating users can be slow, and doing it before every single test is just overkill. But way more important than that, it's the wrong scope. It isolates tests from each other inside a single worker, sure, but it does absolutely nothing to stop two different parallel workers from colliding. The worker scope is the only tool that puts up a wall between the workers, and that's what we need.
All right, let's wrap this all up. If you only remember 3 things from this, make it these 3. This is your checklist for building incredibly stable parallel test suites.
Number 1, you have to isolate your server state. That means one unique account per worker, period. Number 2, Leverage worker-scoped fixtures to get that done. It is the perfect tool for this exact job. And number 3, create that unique account data easily by using the built-in worker index. Isolate, leverage, create. Got it? And that's really it. I promise you, if you truly understand and implement this one pattern, isolating your state at the worker level, you will immediately be in the top tier of automation engineers. It's the fundamental difference between fighting a flaky test suite every single day and building a reliable, fast, and trustworthy automation framework that actually works.